Starting off with a glimpse of some swatching that I was randomly doing in between while making the artwork. And you see me start off with the graphitint pencils. The russet is what I have swatched now, and I'm applying water with my hand, and then onto chestnut. I dipped it into water and I applied it on the paper. They are the water soluble range in Derwent, and applying water on them, they literally melt on paper. This is not the best paper I should be using for swatching, although this is what I'm doing. This is a mountain grey pencil, and now I am swatching ivy. They have such beautiful names like ivy, meadow, russet, chestnut, aubergine, juniper, and now you see me swatching the green grey. This one has you can see that in the graphitint range there's some amount of graphite that comes along with the color onto the paper, and it has a very earthy tones in comparison to the inktense range, which is absolutely vibrant and radiant. You can see the difference between the part that is applied without water and with water. That was the deep blue, and the color that I'm applying now is, I suppose it's Ionian green. I'm not sure about that particular color. And then I move on to the golden yellow. The golden yellow has a very orangey tone to it, and it is one of my favorite pencils, for which I have a couple of spares always on hand. And this is not a sponsored video, and this is just my love for my Derwent supplies. And I am Bhairavi Govindarajan, a mixed media artist, and this video is all things Derwent. This particular set was gifted to me by my husband almost 6 months ago, and I never got to using this set. These are blender pens and sharpeners, erasers, a huge inktense paper block, along with all the pencils. They came in this beautiful bag, a carry-on, which can be taken for plein air as well. Such beautiful shades, and I could never get myself to using it because I was scared. Maybe I didn't want to use them up, and I have various fears. I don't know, I just didn't want to open the set until this week, when I took out a lot of the pencils and the blender pens to make some juicy art. And yeah, I'm a lover of stationery, so it comes as no surprise when it comes to art supplies. I really love them. This particular palette, I picked it off Temu, and I used the inktense blocks here to fill them up into these beautiful containers, and I chopped them up, tried shaving them. It only got messier with every inktense block that I took out, and I filled them onto this palette. This was an idea when I came across Sophie McPike's the way she used Caran d'Ache Neocolor 2s by making them into a palette. So I thought that would be the best way to use these inktense blocks, because when I use inktense block directly on paper, there is a lot of dust. Sometimes I don't quite prefer it. There are times when I just let it be, but I like the intense color that comes when you apply water. So using it in a palette was maybe a no-brainer. Yeah, so it was an absolutely messy job, but enjoy this and you can make a palette. You can see me swatching quickly as I made one row of colors. They are so vibrant and radiant. And now you will see some pencils. The inktense and the graphitint are water soluble materials, and this lightfast is the color pencil set that is available from Derwent. And this is the drawing pencils where you have very muted colors, which are the lead is quite thick, and it helps you it's even coming on my fingers. So they have a good I don't know, they're very good to draw, yeah, and to give outlines, go over all materials. So I really like them. chocolate is one of my favorite colors. This is actually my replacement. I can't find my small stubs. And these are my favorite, most used colors on lightfast. The Mars Black, the Forest, this is Olive Earth, I think Pine, yeah, Pine, and Spruce Green. So these are the greens, and then the Mars Black I really love. Mars Black, Nightshade, so Nightshade, Dark Indigo, and Denim. So these are some of my favorite blues, and yeah, black of course. And this is the deep rose. I can't find my Merlot, but Merlot is another color that is one of my favorites. So, and I have more of my Derwent inktense like you saw, which was, but until then I used to buy select colors and I used to use them. And I have, I think it's a golden yellow, yeah. So this is one of my favorite pencils, and I have 2-3 spares for this one, golden yellow. And Derwent, of course, I bought the basic set and I really like that, and I've been enjoying. It has it has a hint of graphite, so it has a blackish texture along with the pencil, so I really love that set of mine as well. So the inktense blocks that you saw me swatch, this is the entire set of inktense that I have slowly cut off, put it here, softened it with water. And if you have water in it, do not close and keep it this way, because it mold tends to appear. So I always, if there is water, I allow it to dry completely and then I close it. Just prior to your use, you could wet it like this. So you wet it and it's quite good. I love the colors. Can you see how bright they are? They're quite vibrant. I love these colors. So now let's make some art with the inktense block palette and the Derwent pencils. Our muse is from Birbfest 2024. I got to know regarding the challenge towards the end of January, and I just love me a good bird challenge. I took a Birdtober last October. So I texted April from MonkeyMintaka that I really wanted to be a part of the challenge and I would love to do it next year. She suggested that I had the rest of the year to complete it, and it kept lingering in my mind. I kept contemplating as to when I should start, and here we are towards the end of May, starting Birbfest. So this Birb is Evening Grosbeak. I am sorry if I am pronouncing it badly. It's the second prompt from Birbfest 2024. And I will link all the people that I mentioned in the description below so that you can check them out. If you start Birbfest, please leave your account in the comments and we could do it together as well. These couple of spreads are made 98% with the Derwent supplies. I have applied some gouache here and there in the background to achieve the desired color that I wanted. And this sketchbook is a watercolor sketchbook from Lilo Roche in India. So I absolutely love their watercolor sketchbooks. I have added layer upon layer in this of water using the inktense blocks, and it took in so much. Do check them out on Instagram. And the references for both the spreads were from Pexels and Unsplash. You get wonderful copyright-free reference images there, and I wanted to sketch them in various poses and angles. In this I could get them in different angles, and on the next spread I really love the one in mid-flight. And you can see that I am going over with almost all the shades of green in the inktense block palette, And then I took out some blocks which I had not used to make the palette. I took off some color, tried swatching them out, checking them as to which color would best be suited for the bird, and I enjoyed painting these birds. Ever since spring came around and summer rolled on very quickly after that, I've seen so many birds around here: seagulls, ducks, swans, the wagtail, and so many small ones which I don't know the name of. And they keep foraging for worms, and I have taken a few photos of them with worms in their beaks as well. The blackbird sings, I adore the blackbird, and after I finish the Birbfest, the blackbird is on my list to paint. It's been a joy to hear them in the mornings, and the wagtail, it shakes its tails and runs in the most funniest manner possible. If you can somehow find a video of it on YouTube, you should totally check out the wagtail, and they are beautiful. I really adore them. And then what else? I write a script, and then I keep talking, just looking at the video on the screen, and I sometimes then scramble as to where I am on the script, and it ends up with a lot of ers and ms and ahs. I'm sorry you have to go through that, but still, here we are. So now I'm applying the bright yellow, and as for the blocks, they don't have names on them, and so I still I don't know the names of all the colors that go into the go on them. They do have numbers though, but I have been using them for a while now, and I have accidentally applied water on most of their numbers, so I may not be able to help you with their numbers. And I'm also not sure if they are available individually for sale. I got this as a set back when I was in India, so I'm grateful that I have a lot of colors. So after creating this palette, I'm able to use the blocks a lot in a lot of my artworks, and as and when they get over, I replenish it by chopping or shaving the blocks even more into those small wells. Prior to use, I always spray them, like I told you, and always beware of mold, so allow them to dry completely before you close up the containers. The many ways in which you can use the blocks, like you can see directly applying water on them and with a brush and using them on paper. You could use them in the direct stick fashion as I'm doing right now. You apply it on paper and let it do its thing, let it shine on its own. Or you apply water with a paintbrush, or you will see me now go at it with my finger. Me, messy hands, dirty hands, totally love it. I apply with water with my fingers, and there is this beautiful texture that appears, this grungy, crude, I don't know how to describe it, but it's a beautiful texture. And I also think that the watercolor paper that I am painting on accentuates and lends in more to the texture even more. So you get a different effect on smooth paper. But yeah, give it a try if you like. For all you know, you might like it. You can even take a sponge and run over this with water. But be careful when you use a sponge, it can take in a lot of water, and if you press it on paper, it's going to go all over the place. So while using a sponge, try to be more careful. And if you could also apply water on the paper and then apply the block on top of it, the block literally melts away, and that is a totally different texture. You get a different effect with that. So you could try out various ways on a spare paper and see which effect you want to go for on your artwork. Sometimes I use the same finger on a lighter color which could, get me all riled up, and I'll be like, why did you use your finger? You could have used the brush. But ultimately, keep trying again and again. Yeah. So now I'm going on the already applied inktense block with inktense pencils. You should see how they spread when you apply water and then you apply the pencil on top of it. Like I said, with the blocks, these pencils melt even further. It's like butter on paper because of the water. They give such an intense feel. Most of the colors, they may appear different when without water. There is, I don't know, I'm not able to explain the intensity that appears after you apply water, and you should really try. So here, after the graphitint pencils, I'm also trying the blocks along with water in my other hands and spreading it out. Go on it, try repeated layers. Layers are always a joy, so keep trying layers. And these pencils layer almost on all materials except for the Neocolor 2s, so try them out before you apply a Neocolor 2 layer, so that the effect that you want is there on paper. The inktense pencils also have a lovely range. When you apply them lightly or press hard and you get a thick coat with the pencils, you get a wide range. You get a good base when you apply it lightly, and then with water, when densely applied, as the name signifies, you get an intense result. And now you see me go at it with the Derwent drawing chocolate pencil. It's a scrumptious color, for outlines, and you want to have nice details on top of your birds or any subject matter, any muse for that matter. And apply watercolor or gouache while wet, and you could work in the intense colors for a good blend as well. You could try endless possibilities, permutations and combinations. With time, you will be able to decipher what result you want. And I applied some olive acrylic gouache because I wanted that color onto paper. And now you see that I am trying another piece with the pencils alone, because I wanted to give the blender a good try. And after I have made the outline and filled in the colors with the pencils, I use the blender on separate swatches to know what kind of effect it gives me. And then the blender has a fine point, so it blends well, true to its name. You get a more precise result than when you apply water with a brush, because it's not the brushes that we use is usually not that fine. Maybe you can try. The blender picks up the dark shades on that you apply onto its tip. So try to have a spare paper and remove the excess of color onto the spare sheet, so that when you go onto your lighter colors, you don't take your darker shades with you. It might be a little putting off if you don't want to, if you make that mistake, is what I'm trying to say. So always keep spare sheets, try them out on darker colors, lighter colors, see how they apply before you go on to your final piece. And this is another one that I wanted to try with more blues and reds, along with cooler shades of green. The deep blue along with the greens, they were lovely. The Birbfest 2024 third prompt was the green crowned plover crest. I chose a couple of references from Unsplash, and I love the green plover crest on the left, which is mid-flight. That posture had so many curves, and it was such a dynamic pose, so I really loved it. It was a challenge. So yeah, now in the deep blue, I'm assuming that this is deep blue because I saw that color. I love that color. And now you see me applying the sherbet lemon. over the intense block base that I have already painted, and creating another base by applying water on top of it. Sherbet lemon is such a, once again, a shade for which I have spares. I don't know how come I fell in love with such a vibrant color. It's quite unlike me. I usually go for earthy tones, and I have totally shifted to these bright jing bang colors, and I'm enjoying them as well. I kept trying to depict the iridescent color on the wings by layering over and over, and go bonkers with layering. It is absolute fun. You should, I'm not okay, it's not you should try to enjoy it. I enjoy layering. Yeah, so once again, this is not a sponsored video. This is my love for these supplies, and once you try the Inktense or the graphitint pencil, that there is no going back. Try a small set. I'm sure you will come back for more. You could try to pick up 1 or 2 pencils to see if this is the kind of supply that you want to incorporate in your illustration. And yeah, there is no going back for me. I know this is a long video, and thank you so much for sticking around. Please like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon if you like this content. And I hope you had a lot of fun with me while exploring the various Derwent supplies that I have, the blocks, the pencils, both water-based, Inktense and graphitint, the lightfast and Derwent drawing. See, now I'm using the lightfast pencil. It is one of my favorite colors, although its name is just slipped out of my head right now. I will try to include it in the caption. I'm adding some more layers, layers create magic. Try layering. And of course, the Inktense blocks, chopping and cutting them off. Try making a small palette if you have I think a small set is also available, and you could make a small palette to carry while you go plein air and enjoy with them. And if you are a lover of Derwent supplies, please let me know in the comments below what supplies you like and how you use them in your artwork. I would love to learn more and more ways that I have still not explored with these supplies. This is the final spread. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you soon with another video. Bye everyone.